Hey, what's up you guys? It's me, True Brilliance, back with a video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Mars, okay? We're going to be talking about that masculine energy and how it expresses itself in the natal chart. Now, your Mars placement is very important. A lot of the times it's often overlooked by astrologers or just by the average person when looking at your natal chart. But our Mars energy, it talks about how we express our masculinity, and it talks about how we go after our desires, how we go after achieving what it is that we want. So Mars actually plays a major role in manifesting. You know how when they say you put it out into the universe what it is that you want, right? So that's mainly like Venus. Venus is our desires as well. Venus is what we want, what we are attracted to, okay? So obviously what we are attracted to is what we want to experience in our reality. So Venus is kind of like a wish that we make. It's like a wish, us wishing upon a star. Like, I would like to experience this reality. I would like to experience this lover. I would like to experience this person, right? And then Mars is the actions and the steps that you take in order to achieve that, because you know how they always say you ask for something and then you have to take action. Okay, so Mars is the actual taking action. Okay, you just can't wish for stuff or want stuff but don't take action in your reality in order to get it. So taking action and the desire of wanting to obtain something work hand in hand. So Venus is wanting to obtain something and wanting to have something, because remember, Venus is I have, right? And Mars is how you go about getting what it is that you will eventually have, okay? So you have to take action in order to achieve your desires. So that is what we're going to talk about, getting into the Mars placements. Now, some people are really at a huge advantage when it comes to their Mars placements. In my opinion, the best Mars placements are Mars in Capricorn, Mars in Aries, Mars in Scorpio, and Mars in Leo. To me, those are the four most powerful Mars placements, okay? Now, the weakest Mars placements are Mars in Cancer, which I have, Mars in Cancer, Mars in Taurus, Mars in Libra, and Mars in Pisces, okay? I would say would be like the weakest Mars placements, okay? The weak Mars placements are strong in other areas, and I will talk about that when we get into the Mars series. So let's talk about rulership of Mars. Mars naturally rules Aries and Scorpio, okay? So Aries is external Mars and Scorpio is internal Mars, okay? So this is why they say Scorpio is intense, okay? So because it's an inner tension, okay? That's Mars. Okay, the inner buildup, the fire building up inside of yourself. It's passion. That's what Mars and Scorpio is. Okay, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Okay, so Mars does very well in Capricorn. I think Mars in Capricorn is almost the strongest Mars placement. I've seen Mars in Capricorn in action, and it's very powerful. And Mars falls in, oh, it's in detriment in Libra, and it falls in Cancer, okay? And that's because Cancer is the opposite of its exaltation, and Libra is the opposite of its home, which is in Aries, okay? Taurus as well, because it naturally rules Scorpio as well, okay? So we're going to get into Mars through all of the signs for you guys to understand your Mars placement better and how your Mars energy expresses itself. One thing that you need to learn about your Mars is do not fight against your Mars, okay? That's not going to get you anywhere in life, fighting against your Mars. If anybody knows this, it's me with my Mars in Cancer. You have to learn how to go with the flow of your Mars placement, and you just gotta kind of accept your losses. If you have a weak Mars placement, you have to accept your losses and learn how to work within the energy of that sign, okay, if you want to get anything done at all. Mars also rules your energy levels, okay? So this is another thing that a lot of people don't know, is that Mars rules your energy levels, okay? So people that like have Mars in Cancer or Mars in Taurus, they have very low energy levels, okay? So they may need to exercise more or just do things to become more active because they can have low vitality. So when your Mars is in like a feminine sign, you can have low vitality. You don't have that much energy. People that have like Mars and fire signs, you'll notice that they're very energetic. They have a lot of energy to burn. Sometimes it's hard for them to sit still. Okay, Mars also rules our sexuality. People don't talk about this, but Mars rules how we express our sexuality, okay? Because if you think about it, the sexual act is something that is very Mars-like in nature because you're exerting your energy, right? That's why people sweat. That's why people are hot. That's why people are out of breath. That's why it feels like, you know, afterwards, like you just got done running miles, okay, at the park. You're tired, right? You're tired after it. So that's why literally Mars rules sex, and a lot of people don't know about that, okay? But Mars rules how we like doing that, and it also rules what we are attracted to when doing that, and what turns us on, what gets our fire going, because Mars is our inner fire. So it's our fire and desire. Y'all know what I mean. So this is what gets our engines going, okay? We are going to be talking about that as well when discussing the Mars placements. Okay, you guys, so last but not least, we saved the best for last. We're going to be talking about Mars in Pisces, okay? So in all honesty, I don't think that Mars in Pisces is really that bad of a Mars placement, believe it or not. So I did categorize Mars in Pisces as being in the weaker of the Mars sign. But in the category of the weakest of the Mars signs, Mars in Pisces is the strongest, okay? Like Mars in Pisces operates the best out of the 4 weakest Mars signs, okay? So Mars in Pisces is at the top, okay? Because I do think that this position is extremely creative, okay? The creativity of this placement is off the charts and some of the best creativity that I've ever seen in my life. So I'm very familiar with this placement because my mom has this placement and one of my best friends growing up had this placement. So I was able to see this energy up close in action every day of my life. And like I said, very creative individuals. Mars and Pisces people, they do good in anything that has to deal with the arts, okay? So drawing, painting, clothing design, even the performance arts, singing, music. Oh my God, Mars and Pisces people can be geniuses when it comes to music. Very, very good at that. They just have an ear for it. And they're very good at performing music. So whether they're being a singer, like I said, dancer, even a rapper, because they're able to come up with very creative phrases and things like that, because they have a very strong imagination. The imagination is very vivid with this placement. Now, one of the things that I guess you could say can hold Mars and Pisces back a little bit is confused action, okay? So this is the one thing about having Mars in, you know, the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the 2 fish swimming in different directions. So sometimes it could be really hard for Mars and Pisces people to direct themselves and to know exactly where it is that they're going, because it's like when they set their mind on going one place, then that other fish comes and then it wants to go in the opposite direction. So a lot of the times Mars and Pisces can get turned around. They can go in the wrong direction. Like a lot of the times Mars and Pisces people are not good with directions. Like even when driving and things like that, they can get turned around very, very easily because it's like confused action. So that's why I think that this position works very well with creating things and stuff like that. But when it comes to Mars ruled activities, not so good, okay? Another thing that Mars and Pisces can be good at is like psychic work and intuitive work. So I always look at Mars and the water signs as being able to work very well in the unconscious mind, because Mars is what they put their energy toward, or Mars is what we put our energy toward. So when you have Mars and Pisces, you can put your energy towards spiritual work. So this is another position that I think does very well at spiritual work, psychic readings. Even being an astrologer would be a good position for Mars and Pisces, because they can put their energy into their intuition and using their psychic ability, which is something that they have very strongly within themselves. Mars and Pisces does need to be careful about their anger, though, because a lot of the times Mars and Pisces may not own their anger, or their anger may be misdirected or misguided at times, or directed toward the wrong person when it really needs to be directed toward, you know, someone else, because this isn't really a direct energy. So they kind of operate in an indirect way. So Mars and Pisces needs to make sure that they are expressing their anger to the right outlets, because a lot of the times they can suppress their anger and then it can come out in other ways. You know, with having different issues. It can even come out with like mental illness. This is like in an extreme example, okay, extreme. But it can come out that way because the anger has to be expressed some type of way. But Mars in Pisces, anger is expressed through the unconscious mind, okay? So Mars in Pisces really has to have a very strong awareness about themselves and make sure that they're being very aware about how they are expressing their energy. Now, when it comes to sexuality, okay, this can be a very spicy Mars placement, because these people, like I said, have very vivid imagination. So these people may be really into fantasy when it comes to their sexuality, fantasy. So role playing, playing different people. Mars and Pisces can be really into that. Of course, dressing up, having somewhat of a costume on. Some element of fantasy is something that they're very much into, and they like all the dreaminess and the imagination being sparked, and mystery and elusiveness. They may like sheer and lace and, you know, all of those things may be something that they are really turned on by. I can see Mars and Pisces and Mars and Scorpio having a really good time together, because Scorpio likes this whole sensuality and mystery of seduction. And I feel like Mars and Pisces can play on that energy very, very well. The thing is Mars and Pisces can be a chameleon. So they can really play on any role that you want them to be. They can be whatever it is that you want them to be. So when it comes to what a Mars and Pisces will do in the bedroom, they are also another Mars sign, like Mars and Cancer, that's very open-minded. And, you know, of course, they want to please their partner. So they're going to do what they need to do in order to satisfy them. So they can be very flexible and very changeable, meaning very flexible to bend to, you know, someone else's will very easily in the bedroom. So they definitely may be the more submissive type in the bedroom, will let somebody else take the lead, unless, of course, you know, their other placements are more stronger. If they have a lot of Aries energy or something like that, Leo energy, they may take charge more. But if not, especially if they have a lot of water or earth energy in their chart, they're definitely going to be more submissive in the bedroom for sure. But Mars and Pisces Mars and Pisces is very romantic, okay? So they may love the whole romantic music playing in the background, you know. They may like, you know, to go out on a date, go see some beautiful scenery, like have everything set up like a play, right? Because Pisces is all about fantasy and sparking the imagination. So setting everything up, anything that's going to keep their mind wanting more, entertain, things like that. So Mars and Pisces is another energy that you can't really be boring to them, because they'll lose interest very fast. So you got to keep them intrigued, you know. You know, you got to follow them into their realm. You got to follow them into the Neptunian realm. So another thing about Mars and Pisces is like elusive action. So they could be very hard to figure out as far as what they're going to do from moment to moment. Like you really just don't know There definitely is an unpredictable element to Mars and Pisces actions. They also may confuse people a lot with their actions. Like a lot of people may be like, why the hell did you do that? That doesn't make any sense logically. But Mars and Pisces has their own reasoning behind why they're doing what it is that they're doing. But another thing is that Mars and Pisces can deal a lot with self-sacrifice of their actions. So they can sacrifice their actions a lot, meaning that they won't do certain things or take action on certain things that they should, especially if it involves another person, because Pisces is very self-sacrificing for other people. So they're not going to do something if it's going to impinge on somebody else's will and what somebody else is doing. They're going to sacrifice their own actions and just not do anything. Okay, so this can sometimes turn into an issue with Mars and Pisces because they can miss out on a lot of opportunities because they sacrifice their action. And usually it'll have something to do with an emotional connection, the reason why they sacrificed their action or they didn't do anything. Or they'll let somebody go ahead of them, or, they'll let somebody else take the lead, or they'll let somebody else go in front of them, things like that, when really they should have. So yeah, self-sacrifice can be definitely something with Mars and Pisces as well. Mars and Pisces is going to depend a lot about the house. I feel like with this particular placement, the house matters the most more than any other Mars placement. Mars and Pisces, the house really matters, okay? Because it's going to act totally different in each element house-wise, okay? So Mars and Pisces in the air houses, these people can be very imaginative, but they could be very stuck in their mind. But mentally, they can be like almost geniuses because, you're adding the imagination with the thinker. Okay, Mars and Pisces in the fires. Now, these people can definitely be more upfront, more direct, and less self-sacrificing of their actions than the other Mars and Pisces sign. Mars and Pisces in the 8th house is extremely psychic and very creative. Mars and Pisces in the fire, very creative. Also, Mars and Pisces, pay attention to your dreams. A lot of your action happens in your dreams and happens in your unconscious mind. So a lot of Mars and Pisces people actually take action in the unconscious, which a lot of the times manifests as your guys' dreams. So your guys' dreams may be very crazy, and they also may be very prophetic at the same time, especially if you have Mars and Pisces in a water house. Definitely your unconscious mind is very, very important, and to pay attention to whatever messages that you are getting from your unconscious mind, okay? Mars and Pisces in the earth house can be good because it gives Pisces some stability and some grounding, which Mars and Pisces definitely needs. So this Mars placement in the earth houses can be very, it can be very good, it can be very fertile. So this could be very good for creating the things that you want, like imagining something and then taking the steps in order to achieve that. So that's very good as well. And just, yeah, like I just also want to lastly mention, really you guys work on your psychic ability, because you guys have the ability to be like superheroes in the spiritual dimension. Like you guys can really save people's lives with the gifts, the intuitive and psychic gifts that you guys have. And you guys need to share these things with the world. So if you have Mars and Pisces and you've been holding back your spiritual gifts, your psychic and insights that you get and things like that, it's meant to be shared, okay? Because Mars is an active energy. Mars is an outputting energy. So make sure that you are sharing those things, okay? Okay, so that's it for Mars and Pisces, you guys. Next, we're going to be starting on the Saturn series, which I cannot wait to do. Leave your commentary down below for what Mars placement you have in the house and what your experience is.